extremities. So for the case, it really didn't say anything about any upper extremity issues, but we're going to show you 3 different ways of doing it for a bilateral non-weight bearing in the lower extremity. The first one we're going to do is going to be a slide board transfer, then we go over the Hoyer, and then we'll go over a 2-person dependent lift as well. So,
yep. So the first one we're going to do is a slide board. If we were in an inpatient setting, I'd want to put a sheet over the slide board because they would have a gown on and that would be bare butt sliding on there. Wouldn't be very comfortable. So we'll just pretend he's clothed right now for this one. Do you want to start in the chair? Oh, perfect. So if they're sitting in the chair next to the bed, I'll just have them kind of lean over to the opposite side so I can slide the board in, getting all the way under the butt as far as I can. If he is unable to move fully by himself, we'll put a gait belt on him so I can assist with that. Alright, and so before I go, I've already made sure that the wheelchair is locked, the close side arm bar is off, and the leg rests are out of the way. That way it's just the clearest path for us. And when I instruct the patient, I want to make sure that as we're going, I'm instructing him to lift and shift and not necessarily slide across the board, just to make sure everything isn't dragging or getting caught. When I have him place the fingers on there, this one doesn't have any holes in it, but I want to make sure he's not sticking his fingers through the holes or grabbing across the edge. I'll be instructing him to have a flat hand on the surface there. So let's go ahead and take this close hand here, nice and flat there, and then you can use this hand on the thing. On the count of 3, I'll have you lift, and we're going to shift towards the bed there. And then when we do that, I'm just going to grab the belt and help him shift up there. 1, 2, 3. Now you can bring this hand over to there, and we'll do one more. 1, 2, 3. Then go ahead. And then once he is up there, he is safe. And this is something that we can teach them to do to be independent so they could use it when they go home.
all right, so the next one we're going to do is the Hoyer. So for the Hoyer, I'm going to turn the chair so you guys can kind of see. Hope that makes sense. So let me just face it out towards them. Yeah, go for it. Then, Jared, do you mind putting the arm bar back on? Okay, so with the Hoyer, what we want to do first here is, since the patient's going to be from seated, so we're moving them from the chair, obviously, to the bed. So I need to make sure that when I take this thing off, I'm going to be jamming the back of this down the back. So when I say that, here's the boning on the back. We want to put that towards the chair. This will be the patient's side, okay? I'm gonna take the bottom here and I'm gonna reach it down underneath Cody. I'm gonna bring it down towards the ischial tuberosities here. So make it a little uncomfortable for a sec. There we go. And I'm gonna bring the leg straps here around, just so I have them around each side. All right, there we go. Now, from this position, usually what we're gonna do is we're gonna cross. There is a couple instances where we wouldn't cross or we wouldn't even use this style of sling. If it is a double amputee, especially trans femur, then we're gonna wanna not use this one. We're gonna need a hammock sling to give them proper support. Or if they have a THA, we're gonna make sure that we don't cross these. We're gonna keep them separate, okay? But for every other case, we're gonna cross them. So I'll bring this thing underneath you. There. So I wrap them around, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just shove them in preemptively crossed, so that when I hook him into this, he'll be set. Okay, now, when taking this guy, when we're approaching the chair, what we're gonna wanna do is use this lever here to open up the base of support to get around the chair. I don't know if everybody can see that, but that'll be pressed through. Oh, got foot plates in the way. So many foot plates weren't there. Move this guy forward. And now with this, you'll see that we have the red. There we go, yeah. We have red and yellow straps. Whatever you choose, you gotta use them all, okay? So we can't use some red, some yellow. It's either gotta be all yellow or all red. In this case, I'm gonna use the red because it should lift them up a little bit earlier. Strap you in here. Now, if this is a little high and I can't get the loops on there, I'm just gonna lower it a little bit. Now, the lower level is right here with this valve, so I can turn it, lower it, just like that, okay? That way I can make sure it's a little easier, I'm not jostling the patient around. So I get this up through here. Now it should be all set. I'm gonna push it just a little bit closer to you, Cody. So what I can do is I can instruct the patient now to either cross their arms and hold on to themselves, or if they feel uncomfortable and wanna grab this guy, they can hold on to this as well, okay? So Cody, which would you like to do? Sit right there? All right. So what we wanna do is we wanna make sure the patient's comfortable. They understand that, hey, you are gonna be weightless here. This will be a very odd feeling, so don't freak out. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be right here with you. So here's the fun part. It may take a little bit of time here, but we're gonna pump it all the way up until I see that he is weightless and we can pull him away from the chair. I think that's right about it. Okay. So now that I have him here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull him away. Nope, we're not. There we go, okay.
Oh yeah.
Now we're free. Okay, so I'm gonna wiggle him away. There we go. Now that I have him away from the chair, I'm gonna close this, just make it a little bit easier to maneuver around. Now I'm gonna push it all the way over here. They're going for a little ride. There we go. And I'm gonna bring him all the way up towards the table. Now, as we get to the table here, I notice that he's a little too low, so I'm gonna bring him up so I can swivel him around and make sure his butt can get up to the table there. I'm gonna push him just a little bit closer. And then what I'm gonna do, since his legs are a little bit long, I'm gonna push on his legs. We're gonna push you just a little bit here, rotate him, and then I'm gonna push him a little bit closer so I can get his legs up onto the table there. Yeah, just a little higher. Right there. So rotate the legs here. And now that I have his legs all the way up on there, now I can push him all the way through towards the middle of the table. A little more clearance, there we go. Right there. Okay. Now, but right here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower him. So we're gonna go lower down, nice and slow here. There we go. There we go. So we lower down, 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 making sure the patient's not gonna hit his head. There we go. And now I should be able to, yeah, a little bit more there. There we go. Now I should be able to unstrap him. And position him appropriately. So take the hair away. There's something there. And we should be all good there. So I position him in some sort of long sitting, get rid of the sling obviously. To get rid of the sling, we'll just log roll him one way and then kind of pull it out from there.